What's up guys, and welcome back to another F1 2019 video where we are going to be creating today's Austrian Grand Prix, driving as Max Verstappen and trying to come through the field to take victory. Of course, Verstappen had an issue on the opening lap which saw him drop down to P7, so we're going to be doing the same and trying to grab victory. Of course, he pulled off that controversial overtake on Charles Leclerc on lap 69 of the real-life Grand Prix, so I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments. Do you think it was a penalty, or should it have been, should it not? It would be great to hear your guys' thoughts. But straight into the action, and we actually recreated it quite accurately. Verstappen fell to P7 after turn 1, and that is exactly what is happening in this video. So, yeah, we're going to have to try and go through the field in this 25% race, which gives us 18 laps to overtake the 6 cars ahead of us. One of them, rather realistically, is Carlos Sainz. It wasn't Sainz that was ahead of Verstappen, so I don't know why I said quite realistically. But there was a McLaren, Lando Norris, that he had to overtake in the early stages. So Sainz is occupying P6 in this Grand Prix, and we'll just go through the full running order of the cars that we have to overtake in order to accomplish this challenge. So Vettel is in 5th, then Gasly in 4th. How unrealistic is that? Then we have got Valtteri Bottas in P3, followed by his teammate Lewis Hamilton in 2nd place. And the man currently leading the way, just like he was for most of the real-life race, is Charles Leclerc. So, yeah, those are the drivers that we've got to overtake, and we're already setting about overtaking Carlos Sainz into turn 1 on lap 2 of this Grand Prix. Side by side we go, but couldn't quite get the traction on the exit there, of course, so we took quite a narrow line into turn 1. Now on the run up the hill towards turn 3, can we get ahead of Sainz? It looks as if we've already got him before the braking zone, although we're going to leave Sainz a little bit of room on the inside, almost touching wheels there through turn 3, but good respect between the two drivers. I guess some people would say unlike the real-life Grand Prix, but I'd be opening a can of worms by saying that. But anyway, nonetheless, we are up into P6, and just the big boys to overtake now, the Red Bull, Ferraris and Mercedes. And next up on lap 3 is the first of the Ferraris, Sebastian Vettel, the man who had quite a good race actually today. Started in P9 and got all the way up to P4, nearly grabbed the podium off Valtteri Bottas on the final lap of the race. But he's not having a great race in this virtual Austrian Grand Prix that we are creating right now, as we're trying to get Vettel into turn 1, and we sort of force him into a defensive line into the first corner, which is going to give us a brilliant run up the hill. And as we go through the kink of turn 2 and to the top of the hill, we are already ahead of Sebastian Vettel. A clean move, and yeah, back up in, oh, not back up, well yeah, I guess sort of back up into P5, because we did start in P2 of course in this Grand Prix. Next up is our teammate Pierre Gasly, but it looks as if he's quite a way down the road, and by lap 6, that's the first time that we sort of catch sight of the cars ahead. We've managed to drop Vettel behind, he's out of our DRS range, and Gasly is just about a second ahead of us, so we're really pushing through this final sector, actually going a little bit wide at the penultimate corner. But yeah, it does actually get us within DRS range, fortunately, so we didn't lose too much time by running wide. And it's just going to be a big DRS train up ahead on lap 7 of this Grand Prix. So heading towards half race distance, making sure we don't run it too wide through turn 1. And we're now on the DRS once more on the run up to turn 3. It looks as if the two Mercedes are battling for the lead of the Grand Prix. So both of them have managed to overtake Charles Leclerc. And now we are going to try and get our teammate Pierre Gasly probably into turn 4 by the looks of it. Gasly does have DRS, but he's very slow off the exit of turn 3. And we managed to poke our nose down the inside of Gasly on lap 7 of this Grand Prix. And a lovely little manoeuvre to get ourselves almost within the podium positions. The man that is just about on the podium at the moment is Charles Leclerc, and he's going side by side with Lewis Hamilton through this middle sector. And now we go into the final few corners. Of course, this flat out turn 8, I was going to say turn 7, but it is turn 8. And now we go into 9 and 10, two very challenging corners. Turn 9 especially, so difficult to get right on this game. And turn 10, I'm finding a lot more difficult than on F1 2018. But I'm sure I'll get used to it before too long. And now starting lap 8 of this Grand Prix, hopefully getting a good run off turn 1. And we actually get a little bit onto the sausage curves there. Of course, Lewis Hamilton knows all too well what they can do to your car in the real-life Grand Prix. But it didn't compromise us too much. It just meant that we couldn't have a run on Leclerc on the run-up to turn 3. But we closed up a lot on the exit, getting very, very good traction there. And now we have DRS, but so does Leclerc, and that Ferrari engine just a little bit better than the Honda power unit. So on the run now, down to turn 4. Can't quite get past Leclerc, but just look at this, a four-way battle for the lead of the Grand Prix. And we're now going to skip to the start of lap 9, which is our scheduled pit stop lap. And everybody going very narrow into turn 1. We take a wide line and try to cut back, which should give us a good run up the hill. But once again, that Ferrari power unit showing how good it is. And Hamilton and Bottas now going side by side. It's almost 3 wide going up to turn 3. We bail out, and hopefully we'll try and pick up the scraps. But Leclerc momentarily got past Bottas there. But it looks as if Valtteri has got ahead once more. Leclerc is going to have the inside line on the run into turn 4, but he's just going to get out of the slipstream, and we try and go all the way around the outer side of Leclerc. Doesn't quite work, and we actually end up getting a bit on the grass there, which has really compromised us. But yeah, as I said, we're going to be pitting at the end of this lap. And I believe Leclerc will be staying out because he's technically the number 2 driver at Ferrari, so Vettel should have priority. We'll see exactly what happens. I'd imagine it'll be Hamilton, myself, and Vettel heading into the pits at the end of this lap as we get a big tank slapper there, getting caught on the curb. And indeed, it is Hamilton, myself, and behind us we've got Sebastian Vettel heading into the pit lane for the one and only stop of the afternoon. We're going to be getting the soft tyres off and putting the mediums on. I'm so glad that F1 changed to soft, medium and hard, because it makes my life so much easier as a commentator. And we come out of the pit lane, glitching into Sebastian Vettel. Good to see this game is very, very good. I don't know why we were held in the pits for so long as well, because you can see that Hamilton is quite a long way up the road now, and Vettel, who we'd put a good few seconds between ourselves and him in the first stint, is now right behind us. And we were stuck behind Lando Norris momentarily, but we do manage to make our way past the Brit. And we are now charging in this final stint, hopefully just going as fast as we can. We've got a little bit of clean air in front of us now. Alexander Albon is the next man, but it should allow us to push for the remainder of this lap. And we'll have Gasly, Leclerc and Bottas making their way into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Albon also peels into the pit lane, which releases us up ahead, and we just club that curb on the exit of turn 10, which doesn't give us a great exit onto the main pit straight. But now we're going to see exactly where we emerge in the pecking order, and it is going to be behind Charles Leclerc, but in front of Pierre Gasly, exactly where we were about a lap and a half ago. So, yeah, pretty much back to square one, back to where we were, and we can now resume battle with all the cars, as that helicopter looked as if it was getting very close to the track, but we'll ignore that and concentrate on the racing. Not quite close enough to make a move on Leclerc on lap 11 of this Grand Prix, but yeah, we've still got 7 laps left after the end of lap 11, and we join the battle once more at the start of lap 12 for some more DRS-filled action. So this run up to turn 3, we haven't been too successful on at the moment. It's tended to be turn 4 where we've had more of a chance to overtake in this race so far, and we're now looking as if we're going to be very, very close to Leclerc. The exit that we're getting off turn 3 is incredible. The traction on this Red Bull is brilliant, and we're now going to be squeezed by Leclerc to the inside. We do manage to stick our nose down there, and it's a clean move on Charles Leclerc by Max Verstappen, and that is probably the first time you've heard that all day. But yeah, made our way up into a podium position, and unlike real life, it is a Mercedes 1-2 in this virtual Austrian Grand Prix. You know, you wouldn't have put much money on it not being a Mercedes 1-2 in real life, but here we are in the game, and it is a boring Mercedes 1-2. But we're going to try and put a stop to that, as at the start of lap 16, we've got Hamilton and Bottas scrapping over the lead. We're just going to sit behind and take the wide line into turn 1, which gives us a brilliant bit of propulsion on our run to turn 3. We've already got past Hamilton, and we're going to be challenging Valtteri Bottas up into turn 3. What a run we've managed to get up into turn 3, and just like real life, with 2.5 laps to go, Max Verstappen has got into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix with an overtake on Valtteri Bottas and not Charles Leclerc. That's the only non-similarity, I guess you could say. But yeah, leading with just over 2 laps to go. Can we hold the lead is the question. So we're now on lap 17. Just over 1 lap left in this Grand Prix, and we're trying to save our ERS for that run up to turn 3, but we've been a little bit too conservative, and Bottas has managed to get us into turn 9 on this penultimate lap. So as we go into turn 10 now, we are fortunately going to have the assistance of DRS, and we have got a little bit of ERS deployment and excess fuel to use on this final lap. Hamilton tries to stick it down the inside, but we get a good run off turn 1. We're going to have the DRS. Bottas isn't, as Daniel Kvyat is out of this Grand Prix, but this is the battle which we really want to see, and we managed to get back past Valtteri Bottas before we even make it to the braking zone. We take a very wide line to make sure that we get a good exit, and that has really, really worked, because I don't think Bottas is going to be able to challenge us on the run to turn 4. We go a little bit defensive, but not too aggressive, and it looks as if we've stayed ahead. Leclerc has made his way past Lewis Hamilton and up into P3, which means it's going to be the same podium that we saw in real life, just in a slightly different order. But as we head through the final couple of corners, can we resist this charge from Valtteri Bottas? He got a brilliant run out of turn 8 this time last lap, and he now goes to the inside once more. We're going to hopefully break a little bit later into turn 9, and we're going to be side by side as we're on the run to the final corner, but Bottas has to relinquish. We took the race in line, and we are going to take victory as Max Verstappen in this virtual Austrian Grand Prix, and we have completed the challenge. And what a race that was. I'd like to think that was similar sort of excitement to what we had in the real life race, and there you can see the podium. Max Verstappen looking very, very happy. Charles Leclerc in the background looking a bit happier than he was on the real life podium. But yeah, we've taken victory here, and a victory for Red Bull is the reward. So very, very enjoyable race. Let me know, guys, your thoughts on the real life race and this race in the comments down below. And any more challenges that you want to see me do in the future would be fantastic to see. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to get the fastest lap like Verstappen did in real life. That went to Lewis Hamilton, as I've just bashed my microphone. But yeah, very enjoyable race. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. And I'll catch you guys in my next video. Do take care. Bye-bye.